And what is up, guys? Robert here, bringing you another episode of Robert's Roundup. Happy 4th of July. God bless America. Now, if you're into PlayStation and JRPG news and maybe some drama and the occasional rant, you're in the right place. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, because we got a lot of stories stacked up for you today. So let's get started, guys. So I know this is a channel that talks about PlayStation and JRPG news, but I just had to get something off my chest about Xbox. As you know, Xbox has been getting hit with another round of layoffs. Yes, again, another round. So according to reports, Microsoft announced mass layoffs on July 2nd, impacting many areas of the company, including Xbox. So overall, they're going to cut 4% of its staff, affecting 9,000 people. And Xbox employs more than 2,000 people globally. So even after acquiring studios like Activision Blizzard, Microsoft is still cutting jobs. So through all their staff, not just developers, but QA, things like that, and they're starting to get rid of a lot of games. So we've seen a lot of this happen since last couple years. So there are games that have been affected, like Rare's Fantasy, Everwild, which you heard in 2019, which reminds me, 6 years in development. I mean, come on. And you had Candy Crush, Perfect Dark, and even some Call of Duty. So this is totally mismanagement, and this starts with you, Phil Spencer, which leads me to this rant. So let's talk about Phil Spencer's paycheck. So reportedly, he earns over 10 million a year, and not including the bonuses and stock option. Compare that to Nintendo's president, Shintaro Fukukawa. Sorry if I butcher his name, but he makes under 2 million, and Yoshida from PlayStation earns around 3 million and oversees a lot more than what PlayStation does. So how is it that Xbox keeps laying off workers while Phil Spencer makes all this money? So honestly, I think something's going on, but you can't keep saying you're all about the devs while you keep gutting the very teams that making your games. So it's disappointing about it. More gamers need to call this out. So enough of my Xbox rants, and let's get what you're all here to see: PlayStation and JRPG news. So as you know, there has been rumors about PlayStation 6, and the rumors suggest that PS6 is still a couple years away. So we are talking beyond 2028. So now let's put that into perspective. So PS1 launched in 94, PS2 came out in 2000, PS4 came out in 2013, and PS5 came out in 2020. So in a recent interview, Mark Cerny gave his thoughts on these rumors about collaborating with AMD. And for the next console, the article goes on and he says that you might be thinking PS6 is close, but however, it's not. So in this interview, he says and explains that while AMD is moving extremely quickly on its graphics and technology and upgrades in general, his plans are still a few years away from taking shape. What he's trying to do is prepare for the next generation of consoles, so multi-year is the time frame. So if we're really waiting until 2028 or later to get a PS6, that'd be the largest generation gap in PlayStation history. It's good or bad, depends on what you think, but hey, they're still pushing out mid upgrades like the PS5 Pro, and you never know. So now, for some exciting news, you JRPG fans out there who have Chained Echoes, this is one of the best indie RPGs in major recent memory, releasing Ashes of Elrant. So this takes players to Volandis, right before the final boss. So prepare yourself for this game. The clan of the Crimson Wing has yet to answer for help from Elrant, and it's in a land like we've never seen before. So I couldn't find the price on this, but let's hope it's a reasonable price for a great indie JRPG. It's a post-game expansion that adds a whole new dungeon, new gear, story beats, and some bosses. But if you like that SNES style of combat and storytelling, this DLC is going to be for you. And it drops August 7th. Now, let's jump into a JRPG that is out now. Oceanhorn is out on PC and iOS, And there's a new game called Chronos Dungeon. It's a new chapter in the Oceanhorn universe that takes 200 years after Oceanhorn 2. And the story goes, it says it's a long time has passed since the White City was washed from the face of Gaia, and the once magnificent kingdom of Arcadia was shattered into hundreds of islands of uncharted sea. Sounds pretty interesting to me, right? Well, this game is a dungeon crawler that you can play online or control the four heroes yourself. So, some key features of this game: there's couch co op, so you can play multiplayer with up to four players. It has kind of, that 16-bit feeling with music and sound. You can, the four classes, like I talked about earlier, you can switch them out on the fly with different play styles. It has tons of replayability because the dungeons switch every single time, and there's massive boss battles. So there's plenty of things to do in this game. And if you like that 16-bit era and dungeon crawlers, you're gonna love this game. And having to go back into the sad news again, the Myst and Raven developers, Cyan Worlds, the legendary studio behind Myst and Raven, as I spoke earlier. So the article goes on to say industry conditions have forced us into a tricky spot where we are having to weigh the future of health of our studio against the month to month realities of game development in 2025. So it's a reminder that even beloved indie developers aren't even safe in this economy. And Cyan put everything into this Riven remake. And, while the reception's been good, sales might not have hit the expectations. So let's just hope that this studio survives long enough to create again. And, they've been part of this gaming history for decades. So hopefully they can get out of that. But coming up to our next segment, it's back in the headlines. Rumors are heating up around the Assassin's Creed 4 remake, Black Flag. Um, Ubisoft hasn't officially made this announcement, but multiple insiders are suggesting that it's deep in development and will feature new ship combat mechanics, updated visuals, and expand story content. So the voice actor of Edward Kenway at a recent convention said to a fan, "Have you beat the game? Well, you may have to beat it again, and there's a reason why I say that, but I can't say anything," added voice actor Matt Ryan. So, who knows? I mean, what's going on here? But Black Flag is still one of the most beloved AC titles. So, if you can do this right and revive the franchise, you can reboot it in a big way, Ubisoft. So, hey, what about that? And do you guys remember Outriders? So, Outriders was that co op shooter from People Can Fly and Square Enix. It had potential game mechanics and it was fun with friends. Well, there were early talks of an Outriders 2, but after a middling performance and reportedly strained relationship with Square Enix, Outriders 2 was canceled. Um, the publisher went on to name that it was Square Enix, but the report went on to say that Outriders 2 wasn't nearly as close to completion, but there were no firm answers about what went wrong between People Can Fly and Square Enix. But they were called out about that. So we know that the sequel has been shelved, possibly for good, but it was a promising loot shooter kind of game. It was fun, but it's what happens sometimes. So those of you who are collectors, this story's for you. So Gung Ho Online Entertainment announced a collector's Lunar Remaster collection box. This set is called Athena's Treasure Box. It's now available for pre-order, $59.99 through Ori USA, July 17th through September 25th. So the box set does not include a collection of the game, but it does include a t-shirt that's only extra large size, a medium sized gaming pad, cloth poster, bromide trading cards, linear print, can't read these things, but enamel pins, keychain, treasure box style package, and um, if you guys don't remember, the bundle of the game has the first and the second game that came out earlier this year. It came out for PC and pretty much all the consoles, but it was an old game back in the early 90s. They remastered, gave voice acting improvements and everything like that. So definitely check out if you guys are collectors. And wanted to end this on a promising note to close things out. Something worth celebrating for those of you guys who've played Granblue Fantasy Relink. Um, shipments show that shipments and digital sales top 2 million copies sold as of June 2025. So that's a huge success for the creators of Granblue Fantasy, especially how long they were in development delays and things like that. So, but it proves action JRPGs with strong anime style and presentations still have major appeal, especially when it comes launched and it's completely polished and things like that. So hopefully there's a sequel in the near future, or maybe some DLCs after hitting that milestone. But to celebrate this milestone, the digital version of Granblue Fantasy Relink will be 60% off right now through July 16th on PlayStation 5 and PS4 versions. So, and that's about it. And that wraps it up, guys, here. So check out my Tuesday video where I discuss the top 5 PS Plus JRPGs you should be playing. And also, I am in a weekly podcast with Dark Knight 316 called the Roundtable Podcast, where we discuss the latest gaming news, culture, and maybe a little loot box here and there that we'll be throwing in. But link is in the description, guys. And thank you so much for watching. God bless you guys, and remember, keep gaming. Thanks, guys.